'Tis the old ship of Zion. 'Tis the old ship of Zion. 'Tis the old ship of Zion. Get on board. Get on board. I was lost in sin and sorrow on an island life's dark sea. When I saw far in the distance there a ship it seemed to be, then I saw the captain beckon, and he called out loud and free, I have come, my child, to save you. Step on board and follow me. There's no danger in the water. There's no danger in the water. There's no danger in the water. Get on board. Get on board.
Good evening, everybody. Hope y'all enjoyed that chat. Oh, listen, we gotta get the fire going. I didn't even turn the fireplace on. Jeff Harrington here with Scott County VA Gun Owners. How is everybody this evening? We're just sitting around the fireplace here, get everything rocking and rolling. Sorry here, kind of catching up here in the last second. But again, we're coming to you guys live from Scott County, Virginia. Got plenty of comments already starting in. We're streaming live tonight on Facebook and YouTube. And we just thought we'd have a show tonight and just had a few updates, nothing particularly major. We do have Jason in the house and thought it'd be a fun night just to sit around and talk a little bit. Right, Jay?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Where's Jason now? Let's bring Jason on board here a minute there for a second. There he is. Everybody can see Jason, right? Jason is in the house.
There you guys.
What are we going to do tonight, Jay? What are we talking about? A little bit of everything, see what people have to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Any questions, just leave them in the comments section. We'll get to them if we absolutely can.
We, again, guys, I know we talked about some other things we're doing, but we got Mulehead on board, Mitchell Reese, DeLynn. We've got some folks on Facebook already talking a little bit. Let me pull it up here on Facebook so I can maybe see those comments if they come up on Facebook. But let's see here. There we are. Turn that down a little bit. Oh, we got Brother Eddie with us. Brother Eddie, good to have you, brother. It's good to see you. I hope you got the chance to see that a little bit. David Dockery's with us. Guys, that intro video, I hope y'all enjoyed that. We have had a couple of times, you guys know, where we've tried to do an intro video, and we kind of got our wrist slapped by YouTube. We haven't got that whole copyright thing figured out. So I just thought, well, I'll just make a video with my own pictures and some song that a song that I know I have the rights to use. That particular song was sung by Sam Click as a member of the Gospel Way Quartet. I'm not exactly sure what year that particular one was recorded. I believe that's probably back from the 60s or 70s. But the old Ship of Zion, and I just put that little video together earlier out of pictures that I use, so I don't have to worry about copyright infringements on that one. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, that'll give us a chance maybe to do some different sort of messages. And of course, that particular one, I liked it because it had some some of my personal favorite Bible verses in there that I think went along with it well. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. Again, we're going to try to always keep bringing you guys good content. But tonight, well, like I said, we have just a few updates, nothing major. I don't know how long we're going to go tonight, but we thought maybe you guys might have some questions. You might want to post some things you want to talk about. And I figured we'd just do that. We'll have a little bit of dialogue back and forth. So while y'all are wrapping your minds around that, I see Eddie and Delyn are having a good conversation on Facebook there. Guys, we always appreciate comments. Anything you want to post, comment, talk about, ask questions, get our thoughts on, let us know. We'll talk about it. In the meantime, I'll jump into a few of these updates. Tomorrow's a big day for you all that I guess caught that last live stream. And I don't know if I've made a live stream since that one that was a really, really terrible connection. And I apologize, guys, but that one had such a crummy connection. But I was trying to reach out to everybody about HB 961 and reaching out to their particular different senators. Tomorrow, the big thing tomorrow morning in the Senate Judiciary Committee, HB 961 will be going up and being seen at that committee level. So this is not to the floor for a vote. This is at the subcommittee level. The way that I understand it, this is probably our best chance to probably shoot it down. One of the best chances. There are 4 particular senators that we've been, communicating to you guys to reach out to. Of the 4, I believe 3 of them actually sit on that subcommittee. There were 4 that they were hopeful that would maybe be able to come be swayed against HB 961, and 3 of the 4 actually sit on that subcommittee. So tomorrow's a good chance for it coming up in that Senate Judiciary Committee. And first thing in the morning is my understanding it'll be coming up. So first thing in the morning for the Senate's probably, who knows, it could be 9, 10 o'clock. I don't think they start with like most normal working hours. But that's a good chance. So we'll hopefully have an update for you tomorrow. Guys, again, I've told y'all before, we plan for the worst, hope for the best. So let's just plan that it's going to pass, right? We figure that, they're going to try to ram it on through. Of course, the main implication from HB 961 with the amendments, for those of you who may or may not have been following the last few days. Chris Carter, it's good to see you online on Facebook watching. But if you've not been following the last few days, HB 961 was amended, and the primary thing that it's going to do now is prevent future sales and purchases of their so-called assault rifles, right? Or assault rifle up on the wall here. Not this particular one, okay, just to be honest. It's the ones they're scared of, the scary black rifles, the ones that that they think are weapons of war. I don't know about y'all, but I don't know many military guys that take a Palmetto State Armory firearm into battle. If they did, they'd be not using near as much ammo since it's semi-automatic. But anyways, the main thing about that bill is that you won't be able to do future purchases, sales, transfers of those firearms. The main implication is particularly, from what I understand, around the magazine capacity. As far as for current people, obviously the future sales, that's basically taking it away from the next generation if it were to stay in place, which is, I think, in my opinion, probably the worst implication of that bill. But for those of us that are here right now, the main thing that's going to have an impact on us is if we have any magazines that have more than 12 rounds. And if you have a magazine that's more than 12 rounds, if this bill goes through, you'll have until the time that the bill gets activated, which will be probably July 1st in the worst case, to get rid of those magazines. To actually have possession of a magazine capable of holding more than 12 rounds would make it a misdemeanor. So it has been reduced from a felony to a misdemeanor as well. Now, the way I understand that particular bill, it was also written for center fire, so that would not apply to 22 is what I understand. Although there'll be a lot of clarification. I'm no lawyer, guys. I'm not going to sit here and try to give you all. I don't, unfortunately, know all the exact details, and I don't spend a lot of time trying to analyze them to the nth degree because they're probably going to change. But essentially, it should be center fire magazines that hold more than 12 rounds, because I don't think it applies to tubular magazines. I think it is also magazines that can be removed. So, matter of fact, in the video, if y'all saw at the beginning, one of my favorite firearms, Jason, you're familiar with the Marlin 39A.
Oh, yeah. Some
of you guys may know the Marlin 39A. It's a lever action rifle, but it has a tubular magazine. It's kind of runs on the bottom of the barrel. I had some pictures in the video of them. Actually, there was a model 39 in there as well, a 39 and 39A. But anyways, I don't think it applies to those. So the big thing for tomorrow, remember, guys, is in the morning again in that Senate Judiciary Committee, HB 961 will be getting pulled up in that subcommittee level. It's a good chance to get that one knocked down. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully it gets knocked down. That's the cool part, we hope. Again, guys, Linwood Lewis has turned to our side. DeLynn certainly made that note. Yes, and I believe Linwood Lewis was he's one of the ones that's not on this subcommittee.
He was one of the 4.
He's one of the 4.
Yes.
But I don't think he's on this subcommittee. So, John Lovin, good to see you there. Wesley Fields, great to have you, Wes. Glad to have you on board with us. We got folks going on YouTube as well as Facebook tonight, trying out this multiple stream. We got 26 viewers so far. Okay, so let's talk about something else tomorrow morning. So again, by the way, guys, if you are anywhere near Richmond, you can go into this Senate Judiciary Committee and be a part of the folks sitting in the room, okay? Now, we did see whenever it passed the subcommittee level in the House, I'm going to say that our police officers were forced to go in and force everyone to leave. Because, I really stand by our brothers and sisters in blue. I don't think they're doing that. They're in a very difficult predicament, just like we are at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out tomorrow morning. Maybe the same thing will happen. Who knows? We'll see. But if you're anywhere near there, be sure to know that you can go in there and you can join in and be a part of that crowd that's there. They, I believe, have an open session where they're going to allow some people to talk in favor or opposition to that particular effort. So that might be something, if you're anywhere near Richmond, they would certainly love to have you up there. Another thing in the morning at 7:15 a.m., Fox and Friends is going to be interviewing Senator Chase. So any of you guys who have been watching our channel for a while, you know that Senator Chase is the senator that is going to be moving forward with a recall of Governor Northam in unison with Anderson and Associates. It's a law office out of Virginia Beach. But Senator Chase is going to be going live on Fox and Friends in the morning at 7:15 a.m. So she did post a video. Any of you all that are following her on Facebook may have seen where she posted a video the other day saying that she had a big announcement tomorrow as well. So Senator Chase has a big day tomorrow. She's not going to be making the announcement as far as we know in the morning. She might on Fox and Friends. But she did say that she will be making an announcement tomorrow in the old Senate chamber in Richmond at 2 p.m. So once again, if you're anywhere near Richmond around 2 p.m. tomorrow, Senator Chase is certainly, I don't know a whole lot about her, but she certainly has came out as a Second Amendment right advocate, a gun advocate. She's pro-life. So on those 2 points, we certainly seem to agree very, very well. So I would say that if you're up there around 2 p.m., 2 p.m. is whenever she announced in her video that she would be making a major announcement. Again, that will be in the old Senate chamber. Senator Chase will be making an announcement. Now, if you've been following the news, there was a news leak the other day that she's going to be making a run for the governor's office. So is that her big announcement? Is there another big announcement? I don't know. Maybe the next video we'll certainly talk about that and we'll see what's going on. So let's see here. West Virginia continues to stand by Virginia. We got West Virginia prepared mind. Great to hear that. DeLynn saying go Amanda Chase. Absolutely. Mark Burrell's in the house. Gun show and PSA in Greenville, South Carolina was packed yesterday. PSA had long lines, the AR counters, and 2 long lines at checkouts. Absolutely. Hey, listen, it's interesting. Speaking of, obviously the gun sales have just, particularly, I'm sure in Virginia, I don't have the statistics to see, but I'm sure they've skyrocketed since all this has started. It's interesting also, there's been some friends of mine I've talked to that are really getting into the 80% lower. So I don't know if any of you guys out there are doing any of the 80% lower stuff, but basically you get a lower AR rifle. So for those of you who are not familiar with this process, an AR, which just stands for Armalite rifle, but that's the AR-15 platform. There's multiple manufacturers of that. But there's an upper and a lower. So the upper consists basically of the barrel and a barrel shroud and the forearm stock and the front sight, things along those lines. And that attaches to what's called the lower, which is basically your action, your frame, your trigger, your handle, your butt stock. All that's considered the lower part of the AR. And you can buy what's called an 80% lower, which is essentially a block of either steel or aluminum, or I guess they maybe make it in polymer as well. I don't know if they're doing 80% polymer, But basically, you can buy a jig and you can make your own lower. In America, fortunately, one freedom we still currently have, I'm sure the Democrats would love to take away, is it's perfectly legal to make your own firearm. A lot of people don't realize that. But it is 100% perfectly legal to make your own firearm for your own use. You can't sell it. You can't transfer it because then you'd have to get a stamp put on it, okay? But purchasing these 80% lowers, 80% apparently is the legal limit, where anything beyond that, and it would have to, of course, have a serial number on it. But you can buy that 80% lower. I mean, I think they're pretty cheap. I think they're as cheap as like maybe $60, $80, something like that. Spencer Frey says 3D print your lowers if you want. That'd be cool, Spencer. I never thought about that, but I'd say that certainly could be one they could do. Still need an upper at a BC bolt carrier group. So BCG is bolt carrier group. Absolutely. Because the frame doesn't take the pressure, right? It's the barrel and your bolt carrier group that takes the pressure. So I would suppose you could 3D print your own. But anyways, that's another cool thing that's going on. So I don't know. Like I said, guys, we're just kind of chatting tonight, just talking around. I'd love to hear y'all's comments. If there's anything you want to talk about, let us know. We certainly are all ears. Something else that happened in the news here recently. Donald Trump came out and made an announcement. So, Jay, I'm going to let you come here. We'll let Jason talk about this one. Jason, what was it Donald Trump was talking about here? Hang on a minute. I accidentally cut him off because I turned my audio off. I'm going to have to leave mine up here. Go ahead, Jay. Say it one more time.
He's going to be starting off the Daytona 500. First president in history to do such. So it's going to be interesting to see.
He's going to be running. He's going to be. They call it like the. Do they call it the?
I don't know what exactly they have a term for it, but I'm not sure what the term is that they use for that. I know there's a term for it. If anybody wants to give that to us, they can throw it in the comment section there. But I know there's a term for it. But he's going to be the starter of the race, I guess. He's going to announce it. Say, be the one to say, "Gentlemen, start your engines." I guess.
Yeah. They call it like the Grand Master, Grand Champion, or something like that. And I think I saw an article. I don't know if there's any truth to this, but there was an article that said he was going to be taking the Beast for a loop around the track. Maybe that would be cool if they'd use it for the pace car. I mean,
yeah. Well, I saw something. Somebody said the Daytona 500 this year will be more or less a Trump rally at the race. So I can imagine that race is going to be packed.
I would imagine it will. So that's kind of some cool news coming on. Let's see. I saw
Grand Marshal. Thanks, Delaney.
Grand Marshal. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, absolutely. I see Geraldine put a comment here. You catch the UN mobilization video on Earthly Patriot YouTube channel. The videos show Wuhan, China event. They are UN troops. Check it out. Yeah, Geraldine. No, I've not seen that particular one. But thanks for joining the show tonight. Join the live stream. I see Truth Freeze is on here also. Congress pushing for War Powers Act abided, especially I'm assuming especially in Iran. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, Truth Freeze, but yeah, something going on there as well. I was talking to Lynn the other day, guys, and I've gotten so behind here on the farm. I'll be honest with you, I've just gotten behind on some things. I told Lynn I'm doing good just to keep up with the Second Amendment stuff in Virginia, guys. So use that as a reminder, guys. This channel is everybody's. These comments, this is good for everyone to go look at, guys. Don't count on me to be your one point of reference. Don't count on anybody to be your one point of reference. Anything I say, go out and fact check it. Check it out for yourself. I've been a strong proponent of checking and validating the facts yourself and looking things up. I will always do the best to try to bring you as most accurate information I can. If there's something I'm not sure about, just like with taking the Beast around the track, that's of course the car that the president rides around in his limo. It's not been verified. I didn't go out and fact check it. I've got better things to be doing. So I think it's a cool idea. I think they ought to go for it. But yeah, so no, I'm not familiar with what's going on with Iran. I've not had a chance to follow up with that. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not as good about watching a lot of news. I don't watch the news, guys. I'll be honest with you. I stopped watching the news a long time ago, and it made me a much happier person. That's sad to say. I try to follow enough to stay informed to make sure I know what's going on. But particularly the mainstream media, there's just so much. I don't know. It's just rhetoric almost. I mean, really, and it just becomes more frustrating than anything. So I see Brother Eddie made a post here on Facebook. He says, "Let everyone know about the prayer day for our Saturday, March 14th at Keith Memorial Park, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m." Now, Eddie, remind me. I believe that's in Nicholsville. So, Eddie, I hope you're still watching. If you see that, or if anybody else is watching, it's Keith Memorial Park. I hope I'm getting that right. I'm saying, did I say Nicholsville? I think it's in Nicholsville. Is it Nicholsville? If somebody can hear that, if y'all can verify and make sure that let me know if Keith Memorial Park in Nicholsville is the right place. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We're going to stay tuned. I'm going to have an update. I know somebody will post it here in a minute. I may have that town wrong, but it's Keith Memorial Park, Saturday, March 14th. All right, I see someone came from Facebook and said yes. Okay, good. So it is in Nicholsville. That's going to be our prayer day, guys. It's on Saturday, March 14th, 10 a.m. to 12 to noon at Keith Memorial Park in Nicholsville. It's going to be we did one of these, it's been, I don't know, about a month ago, I guess we did one up in Gate City. It was a great event. We had some music. We had some, just some guest speakers. We had, I don't know how many people showed up. There was probably, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50 people. It's something we talked about as a group. We wanted to try to do more of these and maybe see it grow. We'd love to eventually have a whole lot more of these folks at these things. Amber Barker's online. Good to see you, Amber. But anyways, prayer day. It's going to be a great one. We get together. We have some prayer. We have some music. We have some fellowship. We have a good time. If you're around the area, come join us. Spencer Phrase, here's the thing. We're as close to Civil War as we were in the 1860s. I would say that's probably relative. I might go, but yeah, late 1850s, 1860s, maybe so. Yes, this virus is out of control, and anyone with the brain knows the real numbers are suppressed. The world's on fire, man. Yeah, Spencer, the world is on fire. I mean, up is down, down is up. You know, is it a symbol of end times? I saw DeLynn also put Nicholsville. Sorry, jumping back here for a moment. But yeah, is it a sign of end times? You know, it's absolutely, is it Civil War? Are we on the brink of that? You know, I think there certainly are some, we'll call them elected representatives that are certainly pushing that way, whether that's their desire or not. I'll leave that open for speculation, but it certainly is something that some of them seem dead set on sending us to. Bloomberg, John Lovin. Oh, Bloomberg, he's bringing up Bloomberg. This will be cool. We got another update related to that. It just made me think of this. John Lovin says, Bloomberg said, take the guns away from the people being murdered. That explained why he was so upset about the armed members of the church in Texas. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So Melody Dawn says, good evening. Good evening to see you, Melody. Truth Freeze. Wars, rumors of war, pestilence, famine upon us. Yeah, indeed, Truth Freeze. Johnson, you brought up Bloomberg. You know, so Jason, I know there was an event happened recently in Johnson City, right?
Oh, yeah. I guess he came. He was here on Saturday.
He wasn't here, but I think he had representation. It was here.
Okay, representation. It was here. They definitely mentioned the Bloomberg team was showing up in Johnson City. They've actually set up an office in Johnson City over in the Kroger section. I'm assuming that's the one over next to ETSU.
That's right. That's what the pictures look like. So yeah. So for those of y'all who may not be from around this area, you know, Hilton's Virginia and Scott County, Virginia, we sit on the border of Tennessee. So we're very close to, like, the Bristol Raceway is not very far from us. Of course, that's Bristol sits in between Tennessee and Virginia. But Johnson City is one of the Tri-Cities in the area, and Johnson City had a Bloomberg event the other day. And it was interesting. There was actually an anti-rally that was also there. Again, we were working here on the farm. Jason, I think, was helping me most today as well. We were unaware of that. I said it would have been great.
Didn't hear about it until afterwards.
Yeah, it was afterwards. So they didn't do a very good job as far as the protest folks, I guess, getting the word out. Yeah, so Bloomberg's money is going far and wide. Anybody that's watching YouTube or Netflix or Amazon, I'm sure you've seen a Bloomberg commercial. It's like as soon as it comes on, the first thing I do is I just hit home. I just get away from it. I don't even let the thing play. I can't stand it. So, yeah, I saw that. Bloomberg wants to pick Hillary as a VP. I saw that, Melody. I didn't know. I've not verified that, but I did see several articles that said that he was considering Hillary as VP. I find that interesting because I wonder if with her arrogance, would she be willing, to take
the seat
VP? I think she really wants to be the one wearing the pants, so to speak. So I don't know
but
if
at the same time to put her back in the spotlight, to get the Democrats rolling, because behind the scenes she'd still be wearing the pants, even in that relationship.
With Bloomberg, you think
with
so?
Bloomberg, Hillary. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Here, so we'll get some comments rolling here real quick. I know there's some other stuff coming up through here. Let me make sure before I catch this. I'm in Iowa. He skipped us. Spencer skipped you.
So DeLynn was her brother was working
several
near the event.
Okay, yeah, so excellent. Your brother was working near there.
There was a lot of Second Amendment supporters.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, listen, so quick. So let's just do this for fun, right? So if y'all think, if they were to go together, who do y'all think would be the one that's in charge? Would it be Bloomberg or would it be Hillary? I don't know. Which one do y'all think? I don't know. My personal opinion is I think this is going to be more of a hype. I don't think she's going to take it because I think her pride doesn't want her to run as VP. That's my personal opinion.
Very true.
I think she won't do that. DeLynn says Hillary will be doing it. Surely, if he chooses Hillary, it'll hurt his campaign. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, Dustin. I don't know.
It'll either save it or make it.
Let's see.
It'll either make it or it'll break it.
We've got several folks from Facebook joining on: Jeremiah Gillenwater, Phil Gardner, Stephen Doherty, Tyler Bricky. Good to see you guys. Guys, while we're sitting here, just real quick, take the moment, if y'all wouldn't mind, take the video, hit the like, hit subscribe if you'd like to. Share the video out. We are trying to broadcast on multiple channels here, so we're doing YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. So, all right. So, Brother Eddie's saying Hillary would be in charge. If she did take the bid, I will admit I think she would be in charge. I do admit that. Okay, I really don't think she's going to take it. I may be very well proven wrong on that. I don't think. I mean, guys, there's a part of me call me a little bit too confident here, and I want to call it too confident too because. I want to make sure that I recognize I'm being a little bit confident here. But to me, there's just almost no way that Trump loses this year, in my opinion, right? We've got to get out there and vote. Don't get that in your mindset. I'm almost kicking myself for saying this. But, I mean, they've got to know that there's, like, no chance for them to do this, right? Yep. So I think they're just trying to make as big of a I don't know, show. They're just trying to make a show, I think. Anyways, I think Hillary would be in charge.
From what I understand, early voting has already started. Early voting has started. At least I know it here in the Tri-City, in Tennessee.
This is for the primaries. This is for the polls, I think. This is for the nominations.
Okay.
It should be for the nominations because they didn't have a nominee yet.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're talking about the presidential ones?
Yeah. So the early voting has already started.
Yeah, this should be for the early polls.
We'll be finding out something pretty soon.
Yeah.
Who's going to actually run against him?
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because, I think at the caucuses, no one's even talked about Bloomberg, right? Mm-hmm. I think from the caucuses, the crazy old white guy, Bernie is the one that I think has the lead there, which is like freaking the Democrats out. They want anybody but Bernie to be the one getting the lead, but he's the one at the booth that is winning at all these if Bloomberg had Hillary as VP and won, he'd get real sad and kill himself. Yeah, there was a funny meme going around that basically he needed to take out life insurance policy if he wins and she's VP because she'll get bumped to being president. Both of them together couldn't manage a Taco Bell. I agree with you, Mulehead.
I kind of agree with Spencer. If Bloomberg had Hillary as VP and won, he'd get real sad and kill himself.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. I mean, he'd be like Epstein. He'd disappear real quick, right?
Yeah.
We haven't heard about Epstein, right? We still don't know where Epstein's at.
And then ultimately, she'd have the seat.
That's right. That's what she'd get the seat back. That's right. I guess what the next it will be the Speaker of the House that moves up as VP in that instance, right? Is that how that works? I can't remember the exact order chain of command there, but. Okay, Geraldine says China's plan seems to release a bioweapon on their own citizens, then invade the USA. The UN are the Chinese troops. I will put a link in the next post so you can research. Okay, Geraldine, go ahead. We'll look at some things. We don't do a whole lot on some of that stuff, but we can certainly look into it. I mean, Chinese has the largest population of the world, from my understanding, them and India. So I'm sure they certainly have a large presence. I mean, to me, the UN is just it's a foreign army, in my opinion. That's just the way I look at it. I realize the UN is primarily coming out of New York, but that's just not an area I look at. Well, we just had a lot of comments come in. Spencer Race, did you get a chance to catch the 8-state Second Amendment sanctuary compact stuff, guns and gadgets posted about the other day? Yes, I did. So, Spencer, I'm trying to remember. I remember reading it, and I apologize. It's been a few days since we've done a video. Yes, there was a compact around. There were several states that were wanting to do a compact around Second Amendment, but I don't remember all the details. So, Spencer, if you feel free
that interstate compact agreement, it was like there was 8 states that were all aligned in the South here. I guess it was just basically so if you cross state lines, they'll recognize your permit to carry.
No, I think it was broader than that. I think it was because it was more than just your carry permit. It was around like wanting do constitutional carry and some other things. If I remember, right. It was much more broad than just recognizing reciprocity.
Right. So it basically recognizes your natural right
Your natural right. Yeah,
keep
yeah.
your firearms.
Spencer, be sure to post if you have a link to that. We'd love for you to share that if you could. Let's see. I'm just looking at all the comments coming in here. Speaker. Okay, speaker started after the VP. That's right. So speaker. I was right. Speaker of the House. It's been a long time, guys, since my middle school. I guess government class, how things operate. I don't have all that perfectly memorized. Let's see if I have anything else that's worth interesting talking about. We talked about Bloomberg being here. Okay, yeah, there is an interesting thing. So I think I'm gonna holler out for some help here from some folks. So Delynn, if you're on here, I should have wrote down the notes, but I know Delyn's still watching. I hope she still is. Let's talk a little bit about some options. I think Delynn, was it SB 35 or was it HB 35, the one related to the city ordinance that you and I have been talking about? I just want to drop a little bit of maybe a teaser to you guys, something that we're thinking about doing. I'm looking back at my notes here. But there is essentially another bill that's coming up on the surface that sounds really good in Virginia. I don't have it written down. Delynn, if you can, yes, 35. Is it SB or HB, Delynn? Is it a House bill or a Senate bill? Do you recall? Let's take just a minute and talk about this because this is an interesting one. So there's this bill coming forward. I think it's a Senate bill, but gosh, I may be wrong. Delynn's going to verify that, I hope, for me. Essentially what the bill says is it will delegate authority to local municipalities and counties to enforce their own gun laws. Something along those lines, okay? I mean, generally speaking, on the surface, that's what it sounds like. And I remember when I first saw this, I thought, that's not so bad. That sounds pretty good. I mean, distributed government, small government, let local people, govern their own. It really sounded good on the surface until I dug in a little bit to it. And what it turns out it actually is, it does give local municipalities and counties authority to enforce their own gun laws, but it's specifically limited to the only thing that they can enforce in that area is they can add gun-free zones temporarily or permanently to areas that they have jurisdiction over. So like streets, alleyways, parks, government buildings. It allows them to add, whether it be temporarily or I guess permanently, gun-free zones. That's it. That's the only authority it gives them, right? It doesn't give them the authority to, like, say, we're going to ignore HB 961, or we're going to ignore the red flag laws, or we're going to let whatever, we're going to let purchasing of firearms, whatever firearms, we're going to ignore the one gun a month. It only gives them the ability to further restrict your Second Amendment rights, and particularly by making more, we call them gun-free zones. I'll call them more lethal zones, right? Because that's if someone was going to do harm, I say if you were going to do harm and you had intentions to do something bad, that's where you would go, right? You wouldn't go whether there's going to be Second Amendment supporters that might have a firearm. You're going to go somewhere like a gun-free zone where no one's going to be able to defend themselves. So that's the only authority this bill gives them. It is SB. Thank you, Delynn. It's SB. So it's Senate Bill 35, which means it's already been crossed over. It passed the Senate. It's in the House. I don't know when it comes up in the House. But again, the point I want to make here is on the surface, it sounds good. But when you read it, it only gives a county or municipality the ability to further restrict your Second Amendment rights. So Tim Anderson of the Anderson and Associates Group came out the other day, and you all are certainly very familiar with all the Second Amendment movements that have happened across the Commonwealth, where many of the Board of Supervisors, we basically all the counties work with our Board of Supervisors to become declared a Second Amendment sanctuary. The last number I saw was over 95 counties and municipalities. I think there's been more added, so it's probably over 95 now. But I mean, essentially, guys, it was the whole, basically the whole Commonwealth, except those very few areas that are Bloomberg controlled. But what Tim Anderson and Associates is talking about doing, what they want to do is a renewed effort to work and come up with an actual ordinance. So, guys, if you're in Scott County, this could potentially impact you or any of the states in the Commonwealth. What he is asking folks to do, and we're considering this, we're looking into this, is petition our Board of Supervisors to come up with an actual city ordinance that says they will not enforce its subsections E and F. I remember that, of a particular law, because that's the amendment. SB 35 adds basically section E and F of this existing state of Virginia code law. Okay. And what those sections do is it delineates out that they can add gun-free zones. And section F basically says they have to post signs. So, you know, you can imagine like driving home from work and all of a sudden you come up to a street that you've always drove down. And let's say you have your gun in your vehicle. And there might be all of a sudden be a sign that says this street is a gun-free zone. I guess you've got to do a U-turn, turn around, somehow get out of there because your vehicle, you can't go down that street that would now be declared a gun-free zone. That could happen with alleyways, parks. I mean, you think what we did on Lobby Day, that's basically what would happen in your own municipality. They would be able to block things like that. So the ordinance that they're asking people to do, again, is to petition their Board of Supervisors to make an actual city ordinance, a declaration from the, this is different than the declaration of the sanctuary status, right? Because that's really not a law. That's not like a legally binding thing. A city ordinance is. They want areas to make a county or city ordinance that says they will not use their power to enforce section E and F of that particular Virginia state code. So it's like a reaffirmation of the Second Amendment status, but it's a little bit bolder. You know, we around our area, we've heard people say, you know, something with a little bit more teeth. This is something that's a little more teeth because it's an actual ordinance. It's an actual, like a law. It's like them saying, we are not going to do this legally. We're not going to do this. If they ever wanted to try to do that, they'd have to pass another ordinance to undo this ordinance in order to be able to use sections E and F of that law. So we're tossing an idea around. We're looking around. We want to look a little bit more into the viability, the reality of this. So if you're in Scott County, that's something that can certainly have an impact on you. There's no such thing as a gun-free zone. Yeah, the Mulehead saying this. I agree with the Mulehead. You don't just put up a sign. It's like they say, I mean, you know, if they wanted to make drugs illegal, or if they wanted to keep drugs away from people, they would just make them illegal, right? We see how well that works for the methamphetamine predicament, all the others that we hear about, the opioids and everything else. So yeah, but that's an interesting one. That's a little bit of a teaser there. So we will definitely have more information for you guys down the road on that. We don't know exactly where we're going to go with that, but it feels like the right thing to do. I'll speak for myself there. It feels like the right thing to do to say that we are, as a county, we will reject those amendments. We will state by ordinance that we will never enforce those, which is in alignment with our Second Amendment sanctuary status and in alignment with the Second Amendment, as well as the 13th Amendment and the second section of our Virginia Commonwealth Constitution, ensuring our right to arms. So we'll call that a little bit of a teaser there. So just something to think about. It says they don't care about our our safety. They simply want to disarm us. Dustin Carter saying this. Yes, Dustin, I think that's exactly right. That's the main thing they're going after. You know, that's even like with the things they've given in on HB 961. It's only a matter of time, guys. They're just trying to get a little piece here and there, okay? And that's what their work is. Melody Dawn says meth is rampant in my area. It's horrid. It is. You know, it's meth and the opioid crisis, and you know, even guys, I'm gonna say this: the people that are pushing out the marijuana stuff, you know, the Democrats trying to legalize that. You know, are there people that probably enjoy that and that's all they ever do, and that just helps mellow them out? I'm sure there probably are. But guys, I mean, I had personally seen that ruin people's lives. Jay, would you agree?
I would agree.
We've seen that ruin people's lives, and so you know, I mean, alcohol does too, so that's a difficult one, right, from a constitutional perspective. But, you know, I just don't like the idea that the youth in our county would be able to legally get, I guess, marijuana. You know, they're trying to pass the one if you have less than however many ounces, they'll it's like not even a misdemeanor. It's almost like a, you know,
slap on the wrist. Yeah,
like, hey, we don't want to catch you again with this, right? So they're trying all they can to just plunge us down into more moral decay, and it's just not a good path. Hey, by the way, Delynn, you're there. I didn't even think about this. Delynn, you recognize the shirt, don't you? Let me stand up here and try to get that in there. Hope y'all can recognize that shirt. They are our rights. So this is a shirt that, and we are keeping them. So shirt that DeLynn actually locally, we got these together, put those together. So I'm proud to be wearing my shirt. I didn't think about that. So DeLynn, I hope you like that right there. Let's see. Ticks can suck your blood if you have repellent on. They can't suck your blood if you have repellent on. Spencer Frey says absolutely. All right. So let's see here. Very true. Reno, Nevada has federal marijuana dispensaries all over the place. Yeah, obviously. So Colorado's legalized it. You know, it's going to be interesting with these cities, these states, the last few years that have legalized a lot of marijuana. I believe. So don't quote me on this. I think Washington State has also legalized. I think they're one of the ones. Oregon, maybe in that area. You know, there's a lot of liberal areas. It's a lot of highly liberal, dense population up there. But it's going to be interesting to see as this continues forward to see what happens with the crime statistics in those areas. I mean, there certainly is historically a correlation between drug and we'll call it substance abuse and crime rates. I mean, so personal experience, I can tell you, hey, I see Leighton Bentley and I see either Leighton or Brendan, one of y'all are online. Good to see you guys online too. A personal story as far as when it comes to how drugs and really just kind of the liberal agenda can change a place. A city that I visited years and years ago, Seattle, Washington. I don't know if we have any folks here from Seattle. If we do, comment on her, guys. I'm not trying to talk bad about your city, but it's just a personal observation. So if we're already anybody from Seattle, I'd actually love to hear your observations as well. But I had visited that city. The last time I was there was probably, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or more, maybe 12 years ago. And I remember, I mean, I've been there several different times, but the last time was maybe that many years ago. But I remember several different times I thought, you know, one of these days I'd like to take my family back there, take my wife and the kids and go back. When I visited it, it was a relatively very clean city. I felt safe downtown, walking around the Space Needle, visited Cary Park, went down to the fish market. Of course, I took a whole drive around the state, went out to the Olympic Peninsula and Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens, some other national park areas, which those were still fantastic. I think they'd still be great to go. But I'm not a big city person, but I'll say that even for a city, I mean, it was a really nice city that I remember going there. And then, you know, the last few years I've read some articles about the growing homeless problems, the people using the restroom on the streets, the high drug cases. I know I saw a video. There was one gentleman, a homeless gentleman, that had been arrested like 15 or 20 times. I mean, you know, and they keep letting him out. And it just seemed like it was really going down into this moral decay. And recently I had a friend, I'm not going to say who, that went back up there. And this individual, she had also said that her mother had the same experience that I had really enjoyed Seattle. And we were anxious to see that since she was going up there, what was going to be her experience? How did she feel? Did she feel safe? You know, Kim, by the way, we get more people coming online. Kim and Cindy Quillen, it's good to see you guys. But she went and she said it was still a nice city, but I remember I forget what section of the town that she talked about, but there's a picture that shows a part of the interstate system. And by the way, they have a fantastic interstate system in Seattle. I remember you could be like in downtown Seattle. They put in a train. There's a train there now. It wasn't operational last time I was there. It was just getting under construction. But you could be downtown Seattle, like in the middle of nowhere, up near Snoqualmie Falls is the one that comes to mind, like in an hour. And it was like in the middle of nowhere in this wilderness area, right? It's a beautiful little waterfall there, or big waterfall rather. But anyways, that one picture that shows the little bit like the on-ramp to the interstate there and has the city highlight in the background. You know, the picture that I remember from that was you had greenery and it showed the grass, and it was a pretty city picture. And the more recent one I had seen was of some of those same areas, and it was like homeless camp after homeless camp after homeless camp. And I was really asked this individual that was going, I said, you know, what do you see about the homeless? You know, kind of think about that as you're walking around and let me know what you're seeing. And long story short, when they came back, they confirmed, they were like, you know, I still felt pretty safe, but they were like, you know, but you could smell bad smells, and there were a lot of homeless people. We saw a lot of beggars. And I'm not trying to get down on anybody that's begging, by the way. You know, we all have our hard times, but the promotion of that and the proliferation of that with the leftist agenda is hard to deny, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, you know, it's like with the legalizing drugs, the proliferation of letting people that have mental issues and addiction issues. They don't give them assistance when they bring them in. They don't try to reform. They just bring them in and kind of find them and send them back out on their way. There was actually, well, I'll get to that in a second. There's a reference to this to LA, Los Angeles as well. But, you know, they basically bring people in, and it's almost like if they don't have money to offer, if they're homeless, they just kind of kick them back out because they know there's nothing they can do, right? They figure that we ain't going to get anything out of them, so they just kind of kick them back out. So anyways, the personal story there is that Seattle is a town that has absolutely changed, right? Leftist, very long, strong leftist agenda. I saw someone in the comments there said a second ago, Geraldine says it started in California, and, you know, talking about some of the addictions and different things. But the whole leftist agenda kind of started in California. We could say maybe New York, maybe New Jersey a little bit. But, I mean, I think California has kind of became the poster child for the leftist agenda. Bloomberg prompts it and really praises California for the way that they do a lot of their stuff. But there was another video that came out here recently. What's the commentator on Fox and Friends? The younger guy has his own show.
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson. There was a video I saw. Tucker Carlson was interviewing this gentleman. He's an actor. I'm sad to say I can't even name a movie he's in because I just don't know what movie he's in. If I saw his face, I'd know him, and I'm sure most of you all would know this actor as well. But he was being interviewed, and they were talking about some of the things, the problems in California. This particular actor grew up in California, but he was talking about how things had changed so much in California. And he said in LA particular, the problem with their homelessness situation is, he said that the problem is you have either the extremely wealthy, the extremely poor, and then you have a little bit of the middle class folks. And he said the problem in LA is the extremely wealthy are usually so influential that if they do something wrong, they can usually get off the hook. Or he said sometimes they'll get them because they can get a lot of money from them. He said the ones that really suffer are the middle class folks, because he said, I remember the analogy he was saying. He said that, you know, you see officers that are sitting by a street with a speed gun, and the reference he made, he said they're trying to get a speeding ticket from the soccer moms that are taking their kids to soccer so that they can give them a target, you know, give them a ticket and get money. But he can literally, from where he's shooting the speeding tickets, he can look across the street and see drug deals going down, homeless people doing drug deals. And he was saying, it's like, you know, why is there priority on getting the soccer mom versus trying to bust up these drugs? And he said what it comes down to is money. He said that these homeless people that are doing these drugs, they have no money. They have nothing to give. So when they arrest them, there's nothing but cost. And so basically what they do is they just turn their head. They're like, we don't, you know, he said it's almost like an unsaid thing. They just say, the officers don't even arrest them because there's no point. They're going to bring them in. They're going to go before a judge. There's nothing to take from them. If you put them in jail for a few days, they're just going to enjoy the free food and comfort for a few days, and then they're going to release them. So he was saying the real people that suffer are the middle class. And he was talking about the leftist agenda. I don't remember exactly who it was. Maybe somebody saw that. Anyways, okay, we're just going on. Let's see some of these comments. Geraldine, all the border states, all the same. I'm in California, 30 minutes from Reno, Nevada. Very rural area. Okay. That's very good. I didn't realize. So, Geraldine, you know, Virginia's trying to become California. So I hope, no offense, but I hope we don't become the California of the East. By the way, Geraldine, if you saw that the preview video, you probably recognize several of those areas. Some of that was from out in Yosemite National Park, a great park to visit. So unfortunately, it's in California because of California's strict anti-Second Amendment laws. But it is a beautiful, beautiful park. Let's see here. Nurses have the virus now. So I see there was a comment there about the coronavirus. A little bit of update. There is a little bit of local news about coronavirus. Have you heard about the folks in Elizabeth and Jason? Mm-hmm. So there was y'all have certainly probably heard about the cruise that's off the coast of Japan that's being quarantined. Apparently, I think it was today or tomorrow. There's a couple that lives in Elizabethton that was on that ship. So Elizabethton is one of the neighboring cities. You go to Johnson City, past that a little bit is Elizabethton. And they were on the ship, and they were supposed to be coming home today or tomorrow. I think it was today. But they just got news that the wife tested positive for the coronavirus. So they're going to be obviously kept in quarantine. Now, if you know what's going on with these cruise ships, guys, it's really a bad situation on the cruise ship because, you know, I've not been on a cruise ship, but I understand the cabins are really, really tiny. Particularly the ones that are on the inside of the ship. Now, the ones that have a balcony at least have an outside they can go to. But my understanding on these cruise ships is basically they're saying that everyone has to stay quarantined to their quarters. I think there's like maybe, a certain hour or whatever. They're letting certain people out occasionally, but they have to stay like 5 or 6 feet away from everybody. They're not allowed to get any closer than that. And they're only allowed to a certain deck, I think, to go and walk around where they're quarantined. But some local news. So for folks in Scott County, there is a couple in Elizabeth that's on that cruise ship. They did test positive. In fact, there's somebody I'm friends with on Facebook. Again, I'm not going to say any names, but it was their son-in-law's grandmother is the lady. So I guess it brings it, in a small world kind of way, kind of personal to me, with a little bit of a personal connection to that. So yeah, this coronavirus stuff. I mean, it's interesting that like 10,000 people die a year from influenza. The coronavirus. So far, the numbers they said is only like 2,500. Right now, I know there's certainly some contested numbers around that. We're seeing a lot of videos leaking out of China saying it's much worse. I mean, I think I saw one like 50,000 people had died. Right. I mean, it's hard to say because China's a very interesting country. For those of you who don't know, China, they control everything. They control the internet. They have cameras everywhere. They have a social scoring policy. That's how you basically get your credit. If you don't smile enough and then they catch you being not happy enough on these social cameras, it can impact your social score. It's like a social credit system. That's real. I'm not making that up. That really is the way it is in China. Maybe not all over China. I'm sure I think that was in Hong Kong, maybe. No, don't quote me. But there was a system that they're playing around with there on their social score system. So they actually even have employees that the government has hired people in the community to keep like a logbook, and they keep like a logbook. Oh, I saw Jason today, and he was sweeping his neighbor's leaves. That was a good thing, and so they report that in, and they're like, oh, +1 for Jason. He did something nice. Versus, I was talking to Jason Arrington the other day, and he was spreading rumors about someone getting divorced. Right? Oh, -1, take away a point. Like they actually do that, and like these people are paid to be kind of like gossipers for the state. It's really kind of weird. Okay, let's see some more comments. Was there anything else, Jason, I missed?
No.
Anything pop up interesting? Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, she doesn't have any symptoms yet. I see someone posted that they weren't letting her come home, is my understanding. So tomorrow I need security cameras. I would have to have someone steal my 3 years worth of food. My Uncle Dave's lived next door. Some of his friends are shady. Don't trust. If you got some shady neighbors in their family, you got to be careful about that one. If they're shady neighbors, no matter who they are. Do y'all know who the Spanish flu was called? Spanish flu. It actually started in Kansas, but Spain was the only country that didn't cover it up and reported it. Spencer didn't know that little bit of interesting history. That's cool. Did not know that. No, I was completely unaware with that. Melody, yes, you're right. The U.S. has talked about a social credit score system. I've not heard by 2025, but I have heard that is something that they're, in some of the leftist circles, I'll call it, that has been tossed around and an idea they've talked about. So Facebook, another shout out. I see Aaron Duncan's joined the show here. Good to see you, Aaron. Let's see here. China is clearly covering it up right now, and if the U.S. covered it up in the early 1900s, why wouldn't they do it now? Who knows? Who knows, Spencer? I agree. It's obviously the coronavirus is a huge thing. It's a little bit interesting because it's been around for years. Corona's not like a new virus, right? The little bit I know about it, it's not
had the cure. So
yeah, supposedly right. It's like the flu. They kind of have the treatments for the flu. I mean, I'm assuming if it's a virus, most things viral have to take their course, right? You treat the symptoms. You can't treat the flu, right? The flu your body eventually beats it, and all you do is you make sure you keep fluids and you keep your temperature regulated while you're suffering from those symptoms. So, most sicknesses are either bacterial, where you can take antibiotics, right? Hopefully maybe add some probiotics in there as well, get rid of to keep your good biotics, but your good bacteria, or flu, right? It's a virus related, and viral stuff basically has to take its course. So that's most of your illnesses. They kind of, from my understanding, very, very light understanding, that's what they generally evolve around. Let's see here. You also the painting. No, Geraldine, I've not been. It's been a while since I've been to the Denver airport, so I'm not sure what painting. The painting shows what seems to be a military guy wearing a bioweapon suit as the usher in their NWO Denver airport is worth researching. Interesting. Yeah, no, Geraldine, I've not heard about that. That's interesting. We've all had the coronavirus at some point. This is just a new strain. Novel. That's interesting. Not heard about that as well. Eastman Chemical confirmed in a statement that they have a manufacturing facility in Wuhan, China. That's right, the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak. Eastman officials said the Wuhan plant has been shut down. That is correct, Dylan. I have heard that as well. Yes. Denver Airport is weird. You know, when I was there, the main thing I remember, I was just there and for a layover there. I believe I was there once, and I just remember seeing the mountains off in the distance, and it was really, really beautiful. I took a picture of it. It's not one of the ones in the pre-video, but I did get that. Spencer, hey, you got to run. It's good to hear from you, but take care. Take care. God bless you. Well, guys, I mean, we've been going for about an hour. We just been sitting here chatting. There was no particular agenda for today. It was kind of wide open. We didn't have anything particular. Just wanted to throw out those few things there to you. Again, tomorrow, HB 961 will be going before the Judiciary Committee. We'll be trying to bring you guys an update on that. Senator Chase will be on Fox and Friends at 7:15 in the morning. I think that'll be interesting to turn on and sign into and watch and see what she has to say there. I'm sure she'll be mentioning the House Bill 961. I would certainly imagine. Facebook, the NASA cam over China. So this is Jeff Penn Strouth. If you're talking about the one that mentioned something about a particular gas that was being recognized around the Wuhan area, I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about. I did see a post from NASA that said there was a huge amount of a particular gas in the Wuhan area. That gas was typically indicative of, what's it called when they incinerate bodies? What's it called? You don't
when they
you basically pass away and they cremation. That particular gas was synonymous or common with the whole cremation process. So I did see that video, Jeff. If that's what you're talking about, that may be it. But if there's another one, post a link. Hey, Jeff, I see you're on Facebook. So again, guys, we're streaming on Facebook and YouTube. So if you see some of the comments or if you hear me referring to a comment you don't see, it's probably on the different platform. And that's just, but I'll try to point out what it was. But Jeff was asking about a NASA cam over China. So Jeff, if there's something else there, post the comments. I'd love to hear what it may be. Again, for tomorrow, guys, Senator Chase is also going to be making a comment at 2 p.m. So if you're anywhere near Richmond tomorrow in the morning, go to the Senate Judiciary Committee for HB 961. They're going to be reviewing that. Has the best chance to getting killed there. Hopefully we'll see that happen. Senator Chase at 2 p.m. in the old Senate chamber will be having a large announcement. So that's also another good one that will be, if you're in Richmond anywhere, you may want to go and attend that. So, all right. If I heard right, they are burning the bodies. Yes. So I think that's, Jeff, I think that's you coming back in there talking about that on that NASA picture. That was what I saw as well. And that was what the gas was indicative of with that cremation process. So guys, there's a lot of interesting things going on in the world right now. A lot of up is down, a lot of down is up. They're trying to legalize illegal activity. They're trying to make legal activity illegal. They're trying to turn Virginia into California. I mean, that's an east is west kind of thing. People are, it's just ridiculous. The agenda of the leftists is all over the place. They're trying to change the world. And I guess they're excited about that, which, I guess good for someone for wanting to impact the world, but I just wish it was in a positive way, not in a negative way. Anybody that knows history knows that the past they're setting us down is dangerous. Anybody that knows the Bible knows that it's a dangerous path they're setting us down. I'm going to grab something real quick here because I do have my Bible with me this time. I had it sitting over there. I apologize. But if you know the good book, you also know the path that they're sending us down is it's not what God wanted for us. It's not what was in God's plan, at least not in his word of what he wants for us. These are our God-given rights they're infringing upon. And we know it's not in God's desire for it to be this way. Is it God's plan? Is it God's will? I don't know. Is this the end of times? Is this how it spells out? Revelations, a lot of things that are spelled out in Revelations, we certainly see. I think it's hard to deny that fact. It's interesting. I always find it interesting. One of the things in Revelations, it talks about that the temple in Jerusalem will have to be rebuilt. For those of you who don't know, there's a company. I don't remember the name of the company. This has been verified. I know this is verified. This is true. There is a company there that has every single resource, every single piece of material in a warehouses spread around Jerusalem, completely ready to rebuild the temple, completely ready. At one phone call, they're ready to come, right? They know exactly what, engineering has to happen. It is completely ready to go. So that's in Revelations. It's interesting that company has everything there and they're ready to roll. So is it end times? Melody says, yes, we're reaching the peak of end times. Jesus is coming soon. That very well may be the case. I'm not going to sit here and proclaim that I know when it is, because the good word says that not even Christ himself knows the time whenever the Father will say, go get your bride. So the thing I say there to everybody is, guys, be ready at any time, right? It could happen tonight, right? It could happen in 5 seconds. We don't know when that time will come, okay? But the signs are certainly seeming as if it could be now. Maybe this is God's will. Knowing that things are going to get worse, I will be the first to say, doesn't make me comfortable to just sit here and let them happen, right? So I've had some people have looked at me and they've said, well, if you're a Christian and you know where you're going, what do you care? Why don't you just let it happen, right? God's in control, right? God's in control. That's what they'll say. Oh, you think God's in control, so just let him have it, right? Well, yes, God's in control, but we have free will, okay? God's in control. It's in his plan. If it's in his plan, that's what I want to have happen. But until that time that I know it's that, I'm going to try to do what God's will, according to his word, is what I think he wants us to do. So Westfields, I see you saying there, about all this fiasco, you're doing a great job. I appreciate that, Wesley. I appreciate the feedback. It's always good to hear from you. Brandon Mead Rouse, I appreciate to hear you got my 6. It's always good to hear, guys. Oh, Preacher's back in the room. I see you, Preacher. It's good to hear you. Good to have you online here at the end. We're kind of starting to wrap it up here. I'm going to go ahead and close this out in prayer here just in a second. I see Henry's online. Henry just gave us a thumbs up. Henry, it's good to see you. Henry, listen, if you're listening, I'll tell you what, Henry, as soon as we're off of here, I want you and anybody else, I want you to go back when this is done, when it comes back on here on YouTube or on Facebook in a few minutes, go back and watch the intro. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm a little bit tickled about it. My wife's grandfather, Sam Click, we used his audio, Old Ship of Zion, a good classic, just classic. Good God time of America, right? I mean, when God was strong, and the Old Ship of Zion, Brother Sam Click song for the intro video with some pictures. It probably means more to me than everybody else, because obviously the pictures are things that I've taken. But the thing that makes that video is that voice of Sam doing his solo of Old Ship of Zion. So, matter of fact, I may even close out with that after we do a prayer. Is that cool? Yeah. I hope that's cool with everybody, because that's what I think I'm going to do. So here in a second, we're going to close in prayer. I'm going to play that one more time. We're going to close out with it. We may use it again. But anyways, let's go ahead and close out in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I just want to thank you, God, for this day. Thank you for this chance to be here, Lord. And thank you for this chance, just God, to just have a chance to talk to some folks across our county, across our Commonwealth, and across our nation, Lord. And just have a chance to just update them on some things, Lord, and have a little bit of dialogue going back and forth. Lord, the world is a crazy place right now, God. And, Lord, we know that your ways are above our ways. We don't understand. It's not for us to necessarily sometimes understand, God. We just, but you gave us the mind to try to think these things through. So God, we're going to do the best that we can. You called us to go forth and conquer people and not conquer people, but try to bring people to you in the Great Commission, Lord. And that's what we really should be focusing on. So, Lord, if there's someone out there that doesn't know you, they're lost, Lord, we just ask that maybe, through the Holy Spirit, God, that they can be compelled to come to know you, get salvation, Lord. That's the number one thing in this life, is our own personal salvation, God. Come to know you as our Lord and Savior. And Lord, just ask if there's already that are lost, Lord, that you would, bring them into the fold and let them see the day of light and just understand what they need to do and where they need to be with you, God. Father, again, just want to thank you for this chance to have a few minutes to talk and fellowship and just have some dialogue back and forth. God, as always, I always ask that you would protect the words that we have said here. I ask that they be what you would have them to be. I ask that our hearts and our minds be open, Lord, to hear what we want to hear, have that open mind and be willing to listen and have that conversation, God. Father, I do ask that you bless our efforts. We are doing what we think is the right thing according to your word. God, these are our God-given rights. You gave us these rights, these Second Amendment rights, as well as the others that are being infringed. And God, we're here to try to not sit idly by and do what we can to preserve it, not only for ourselves, but Lord, I truly strongly believe it's more so for the next generation and our generation after that and all generations to come, that they can also enjoy the same liberties that we've been fortunate to be able to have. So, Father, for all those that are around the globe suffering from the coronavirus, the flu, whatever other illness they may have, God, I ask that you put a special healing touch on them. God, just touch them in a way that only you can. Lord, I know there's personally been some folks I've known recently that have lost loved ones. God, it seems this time of year, just around the Christmas and the end of the year, and I guess it's where people are locked indoors almost with the weather. That just seems like this is a little bit more close. So, Father, just ask that you'd have your hand on those people that are dealing with those situations. Give them the comfort that they need. And God, just let everything that we do, wherever we go, give us the power, Lord, to just accept whatever your will is, God, and whatever your will is, that's what we should want to be done. So, Father, all these things I ask in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, guys, so we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to play this video. I guess we'll come back on just for a few seconds at the end. But so, Henry, if you're still watching, let's just go ahead and let's see. It's right here. We'll pull this in. The audio's there, so I'm going to pull myself away here for a second, guys, so we don't get any weird reverberations. But I think the audio we play, and we're going to play this video. So we'll be back after this video's over, guys, with this little bit of video here real quick.
Tis the old ship of Zion. Tis the old ship of Zion. Tis the old ship of Zion. Get on board. Get on board. I was lost in sin and sorrow on an island life's dark sea. When I saw far in the distance there a ship it seemed to be, then I saw the captain beckon, and he called out loud and free, I have come, my child, to save you. Step on board and follow me. There's no danger in the water. There's no danger in the water. There's no danger in the water. Get on board. Get on board.
All right, guys. So that video right there was a little bit of a we were having some issues with some copyrights trying to do a preview video, so I just put that one together. That one has I have full rights on that one. I'm good to go on that one. I know for a fact. I've taken the pictures. Jason posted a video link to that. So that particular one, guys, if those words inspire you and you want to watch that video, it's on Vimeo. I uploaded it there so you can watch it on your TV, whatever else it may want to be. But that particular one was my wife's grandfather, Sam Click, singing with the Gospel Way Quartet, I believe, on that particular one, the Old Ship of Zion. But to hear his voice, that's what makes that video. So it's just a true classic gospel song. And so, folks, if you're not on board, folks, get on board. Okay, that's the most important thing we can do in our life is find salvation. So, Second Amendment things and everything else aside, guys, that's the most important thing. So, if you're not on board, listen, open your heart and your mind to God. He'll talk to you. He can talk to you through your word, through his word. You can always pull it up and just talk to him and find out what it takes and to come to know God and just accept him into your heart. So anyways, that was our preview video and our closing video tonight as well. So guys, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I enjoyed just having a little bit of open chat with you guys tonight. Take care. Hopefully see you next time. We'll have some updates for everything. Until next time, stay safe. Fight the good fight. Keep your firearms close, but keep God closer. See you guys. Thank you. God bless.